Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, neighbors kept parking in our lot. I froze them out. You only pay mileage for the shortest possible trip? Okay, then you have to pay my tolls. Customer won't pay, management won't help. You wanted to watch it on pay-per-view, if we're paying for it, you need to keep watching. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbors kept parking in our lot. I froze them out. This happened around 20 years ago. Our family owned 2 apartment buildings, 3 units each. We lived in 2 of them, rented out the other 4. There's nothing but these 3 flats lining both sides of the road for about a mile. Not all have parking. On the side streets are houses and very little street parking. We had more land than most of these units since it was also our home. So we had parking for around 16 cars. Everything was fine for literally decades. Then cars started appearing in our parking lot that were not our tenants. I blocked one in one day. Went outside to see this a-hole drove through our bushes and across the yard to get out. I called the cops, nothing they could do. So I called a tow company and had them put up signs. We'd have to call them to have a car towed, the signs seemed to work. No more random cars. Until New Year's Eve one year. I arrive home and every space is filled. There are even cars on the street blocking in the other cars. I'm beyond pissed. I call the tow company, they can't do anything for a few hours because they are so busy. We're in the Chicago suburbs. It's below zero out. I have an idea. I dig out the lawn sprinklers and hoses. I run one hose inside to the laundry room faucet and turn on the hot water. This way the hose and sprinklers won't ice up. But the cars and ground sure did. 3 sprinklers moved every half hour or so. For almost 5 hours. Every car, every square inch of the parking lot, the street by the cars, encased in ice. I made it a point to spray ice in the locks, between the window seals and glass. In the grills. Put away the sprinklers and hoses, went to bed. 4 a.m., furious pounding on the doors, doorbells ringing non-stop. We just smiled and called the cops. Waited until they arrived and went outside. Cops were holding back laughter. These people were told to park here by their friend who owned an apartment several buildings away. The same idiot who drove over our bushes. I pointed to the tow sign and told the people to move their cars or get towed. In our town, cops can ticket on private property with the owner's permission. So all cars were ticketed. They were also towed, since nobody could get in their vehicle. Wish we had it on video. You only pay mileage for the shortest possible trip? Okay, then you have to pay my tolls. At my job, every day I have to travel between 2 offices. I start at my main office, then have to travel to the second office, then back to my main office. Because I'm using my personal vehicle for this travel, the company pays me mileage. Well, there are basically 2 routes you can take between the 2 offices. One is about a mile round trip shorter, but has tolls. So I always took the 1 mile longer route and avoid the tolls. I did it this way for a year. Well, in comes the new bookkeeper and she is hellbent on saving the company money. And where does she think all this wasteful money is going? Expense reports, obviously. So she starts nitpicking every report. Like if someone is out and has to buy some pens for work. She goes online and finds the cheapest price possible for those pens, and only reimburses for that cheaper price. It, obviously, has pissed several people off. Well, she eventually decided to target me. I submit my report for 2 weeks, and a few days later get the reimbursement payment. Well, it's $5.85 short. I ask her about it, and she says I've been ripping off the company for the past year by taking the longer route between the offices. She will only pay mileage for the shorter route from now on. And I'm lucky she doesn't go back and take back all the extra from the past year. I say okay, but to please send me that per her I must take the shorter route and that this is company policy and leave her office. Before I even made it to my desk, I had the email from her confirming what she said. 2 weeks later, I submit my expense report. I reported the shorter route, so the company saved $5.85. But tolls added up to $136. A net loss for the company of $130.15. It's been 6 months and I'm still taking the shorter route, costing the company an extra $130.15 every 2 weeks. Customer won't pay, management won't help. This is sort of MC, but was really just me doing my job. In the 90s, I used to work for a delivery company. For some customers, we provided a PC and software to print out labels and upload package information by modem. The contract required that the customer provide a phone line and uploaded the manifests daily so that they could be billed. One customer kept on unplugging or disabling the modem. This meant that every day dozens of his packages would be picked up and delivered over the next 2 days, but because the modem was disconnected, he wasn't getting billed. A trouble ticket was sent to me and I went for a site visit to diagnose the issue. The customer was nice at first and said there was nothing wrong, but as soon as I reconnected the modem and started the upload, in the 90s, so there was a screeching of the modem, he immediately got angry and started cursing me out and telling me that I was rude and disrupting his business. I left. He called his sales rep and made up a bunch of lies about me being combative. The sales rep was cowardly and didn't want to upset this customer, so did nothing. He is supposed to speak with the customer to remind of the contract requirements. A week later, the ticket again hits my queue. I go out there. The customer is still pretty rude, but I tell him that I have to do the maintenance. He informs that he has to use the phone line right then for an emergency. Contractually, the line had to be dedicated to the shipping computer. He tells me to leave. I do. This goes on for almost 3 months with me getting the ticket, customer having some excuse why I can't use the modem, then telling me to leave. I have to visit the customer each time I get the ticket in my queue. The inevitable ticket comes in. Okay, no problem. While he's watching me like a hawk, I go to a secondary process and download the manifests to a floppy. We almost never do this, so the customer was unfamiliar with this other method. I'm super friendly, don't ever connect the modem, and go about the routine cleanup. I leave. An hour later, I upload the manifests from my workstation to billing. 2 days later, the sales guy is really worried. What happened? I uploaded the customer manifest. It's in the procedure manual for what to do when the modem is unavailable. Because of the huge delinquency, several months, close to $15,000, the customer went to collections. The sales guy was reprimanded. The customer later went out of business. Though this was unlikely, caused solely by this event, I like to think it contributed. Summary: rude customer refuses to pay bill. Ends up in collections. You wanted to watch it on pay-per-view. If we're paying for it, you need to keep watching. This is a minor MC from when I was about 8 years old. I had a satellite dish receiver in my room and was looking for something to watch when I saw they had Rugrats in Paris on pay-per-view. I loved Rugrats, but knew I wasn't supposed to watch anything on those channels because it would cost money. So I asked my parents, and they didn't like it but relented, so they put it on when it started over next. This was probably about right after lunch. I watched the movie and really like it. The credits come on and I'm not sure if I can just change the channel without it continuing to charge or something, so I go to the living room to tell my parents the movie ended so they could take it off. Before I'm able to say anything, my dad tells me I wanted to watch the movie so bad, I need to be in my room watching it because it's costing money. I try to say what I was going to say again, but get interrupted once more. I don't want to get in trouble, so I go back into my room and stay in there. The movie probably played through an extra 2 or 3 times before my mom comes in to call me out for dinner, and I'm finally able to tell her the movie ended a long time ago. She switches the channel over and asks why I didn't say something before. I say I did, but I got told that I needed to stay in here and watch the movie, so I did. There was a sigh, and I bet she probably told my dad something later when I wasn't in the room. I didn't watch anything on PPV after that, but I didn't get in trouble and it cost at least 3-4x as much because they wouldn't listen the first time. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.